Okay, so today we will be going over the super elevation. In this video, I will be doing the super elevation for Route 8 step by step, and the same, well, basically, Route 8 will be the hardest, so the same steps that we're following for Route 8 should be followed for in order to get the super elevation for the other parts of this project. So if you follow your highway design tutorial step by step, it's going to tell you to open the tutorial DGN from your chapter 11. So that's what we're going to do. And then after you open it, make sure you don't open the 2D because you're creating surfaces and you want to view them as 3D. And then if you use a tutorial 2D DGN, you will not be able to do that. Okay, so now that we opened the tutorial, we will be working mostly in inroads in here. So we're gonna go to inroads, and then we're gonna go to the corridor tab in here, and then we're gonna enter our roadway design. Create new roadway, the tutorial, save, and then you click yes, and then when you expand it, you're gonna have your tutorial in here. And then after that, we're gonna go ahead and start creating our corridors now that we created our tutorial roadway designer. So we're gonna load the OG DTM, we're gonna load the tutorial AOG, and then also we're gonna load the tutorial chapter 11 ITL. After doing that, we're gonna go to we're gonna work on Route 8, so everything that is concerned with Route 8 should be set active, such as the original ground first, because this is what we're gonna use as a base. So we're gonna set it as active. We're gonna go to our geometry, and then we're gonna set Route 8 as active. And don't forget to set your template as active. So template is something that you create in chapter 10, but since we skipped that, we have the information here, and then we're going to use that information to create the corridor. And if you don't set it active, you won't be able to get the corridor that you want, or the final correct corridor for Route 8. So we're going to go to templates, and this is tricky because if you go to templates and then go to Route 8 and right click, you're not going to be able to set it active. In order to set it active, you have to go to modeler, and then in create template, you're going to set the Route 8 template here as active. And you're going to, whatever corridor you're creating, you should set the corridor that is concerned with that part of the project, the template that is concerned with that part of the project active from here. And then we close it. After closing it, we're going to go back to the corridor, and then we're going to go to the roadway designer. So after accessing the roadway designer, we're going to go ahead and start creating our corridors. So we're going to go to corridor, and then corridor management, and from here we're going to create our placeholder for corridor, which is for Route 8. And then everything else should be left as a default. Now, as you can see, we already have it in here, or we have the alignment for it basically, and then we're gonna use this alignment to create the corridor. So after creating our, sorry, it's just gonna take a moment to go to the right page. Okay, so now that we created our corridor, we're gonna do the template drop. So this is kind of tricky because in the template drop it doesn't really explain it that efficiently in the tutorial, and even if you go to the additional notes you're not gonna be able to find a lot of them. So we're gonna create so for route A, what happens in route A is that we have a portion of it and then we have the bridge and then we have another portion. So we're going to create 3 template drops, one for the first portion of route A and then one to specify that this is our bridge, and then the other is to specify that this is where the bridge ends and route A starts again. So the first one will be route A and then we're going to click on it. This is the template for route A, and this is something that we said that you would have created in chapter 10 if you didn't. And then it starts at station 10, and then we have an interval of 50, and then we're going to add that. After that, we're going to add our bridge. So you can either add the bridge or not, it's up to you, but here in this tutorial I'm going to be adding it. And then it says in the tutorial that the bridge starts at station 64 plus 30.67, and then we're gonna do it as an intervals of 10, and then we're gonna add that one. After that, it says that the bridge ends at 65, which means that 65 plus 54 plus 67, route 8 starts again, and that's why we're gonna create another template job for route 8 that starts at 65 plus 54.67, and this one will continue just as we did with the other one with intervals of 50. And then we're going to add this one as well. So as you can see here, I have route 8, we have the bridge, and then route 8 continues after that. So now after I'm done, we're going to close this one, and then we're going to remove the highlight in here. So we're just going to click on it and then delete it, the yellow highlight in here. And also make sure, I think this is mentioned in the additional notes, make sure that you have your active surface OG as locked. Now that we've done portion of this project, make sure to always save your project because you don't want to lose it and then start all over again. So we're going to save the project and we're going to create the super elevations. We're going to define the super elevations for route 8. So we're going to go also in designer. So most of your corridor work is going to be in roadway designer, if not all of it. So we're going to stay in roadway designer. We're going to go to super elevation, then create super elevation wizard and table. In this section, we're going to identify which standards we're using, which is the Caltrans standards. And then using these standards, we're going to tell the program, like, this is the standards we're using, so run the program and do the elevation, super elevations according to whatever comes in these standards. So we're going to go to the standards, the Caltrans standards, but not for the ramps. Make sure it's not the ramps one. We're going to use that one, and then the runoff on the tangent in this standard is 67. So we're going to have to change that, and then we're just going to click on our first curve and then the second curve, and as you can see here we have the super elevation percentage changing. Then we're going to go next, and then we're going to add the super elevation sections. So for the first section, we're going to do the route 8 westbound. So we'll be adding this one, and then here it should be the center line, and then from this one we're gonna use the left ETW1 and then the left ES. After doing that, we're gonna click OK, and then we're gonna have it here, and we're gonna add also the eastbound as well. Maybe the right in here. And right in here. So now, as you can see, we have our 2 sections in here. After doing that, we're just going to click next. And then here we're going to review our information. Our information should match the ones in the figures in your tutorial. After doing that, we're just going to finish it. And now you can see all of our templates and then our Route 8. Okay, now that we're done with our Superelevations, we're gonna click save in order to save our program and make sure that it is not lost. Now that we have all the information we need, we're gonna go ahead and start creating the surface for our Route 8. In order to do that, we're gonna set the surface OG. We're going to go back to the surface and make sure it is set active. And then after that, we're going to go to our corridors in here. Then roadway designer. And then from the corridor in here, we're going to create the surface. The surface will be called Route 8. And then it should have triangles in here. We're going to add the traverse features and then exterior boundary, just as it says in the tutorial you have. We're going to click apply. It will run the program to create the surface, and then we're going to close it. And we're going to save it in here. And then we're going to go back to our surface to make sure that we created our surface. And now, as you can see, we have our surface. We're going to set it as active. So now that we have our surface and everything is good, all we have to do is tell the program to actually show the surface. It says in your tutorial that you just click on it and then do the triangulate thing. It doesn't work, so what you have to do is actually go to the surface tab and then triangulate surface, and then your maximum length should be 500. You're going to apply that, close it, you're going to get the number of points in here. Once you get these, you're going to close it, and then now you have the surface as you want it, and you're going to show the surface by going to surface, view surface, and then triangles. You want it in red, apply, and then close. As you can see in here, this is how your surface is supposed to look like. A lot of you got only a surface around the corridor. This is not correct. You should make sure that you follow the steps in the tutorial one by one and try your best not to miss any of them, because if you miss any of them, it will be wrong and you're going to have to redo it again. So as you can see, we have the corridor surface, and at the same time we have the surface around it. This surface will help us in the other chapters that deal with the cut and fill. So just as we did the surface for Route 8, we're going to be doing the surface for the other parts of the project. And make sure you follow the same steps. Make sure you have your template active. You have the correct stationing. Just make sure that you follow the steps correctly and step by step in order to get it right.